Welcome to CMMS Radio, a podcast and general resource for all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, from selection to implementation to help you make better choices and have a successful CMMS journey. We'll bring in experts along the way to help us learn more about CMMS, facilities operations, and much more. If you need help with the CMMS project, send a message at cmmsradio.com using the What's on Your Mind link. Suggest a topic, share your CMMS story, or ask questions. All right, thank you for tuning in, everyone. We're joining you once again from Brightly Illuminate in Raleigh, North Carolina. Brightly Illuminate is where we're bringing the best ideas to light. We are joined by Molly Phillips, and she is the Client Training Manager at Brightly. Molly, welcome to CMMS Radio.
Thank you so much for having me, Greg. Happy to be here.
Of course, of course. So this is day one. We're really getting ramped up. We're heading towards the opening speaker, and then we're going to have a really nice concert. Who's that concert with?
That's going to be with Marcy's Playground.
How'd that work out?
Oh, man. I have no idea, but Amanda Fletcher, who this event is her baby, she's got connections. She knows a guy that knows a guy, so she made it happen.
Isn't that how the world works? Somebody knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a gal that knows another gal, and this is how this whole thing came together.
Exactly.
What's really cool about this event for me, and I've been to a few different events, but this is one of my first user conferences, it's that I get to see and learn about all the different products that Brightly has. And typically I'm focused on people and processes, but the products, I like the learning lab. So are you directly involved in how that gets set up and delivered for the clients that come here?
Sure. So I'm very involved being part of the planning committee, but our client services center, led by our legendary service team, and that's exactly what they are, legendary. They come in and they support our clients. So anybody that just has a question about their product, they can just walk right in and say, hey, I have a question about Asset Essentials. And they'll be like, great, here's Joe. He can help you. And they'll sit you down at a computer. They'll even log into your product if you want, and they'll make sure that you have everything that you need before you walk out of the door.
I saw that for the first time, and I think it was somewhere around 400 laptops are set up, and then there's also special demo stations with huge flat screen TVs, and people can connect with an expert and really get a one-on-one to go through products, see demos, all those types of things. I wanted to ask you also, though, at this event, there's a lot of workshops, learning sessions. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
I could probably run through the entire list because me and my team put together the entire curriculum, but we have a whole array of educational sessions, all the way from our certification workshops, which are here to help prepare individuals that would like to get certified, all the way through industry-leading conversations. So we'll have leaders in healthcare, government, education, manufacturing stop on in and talk to our clients. What's going on in their world? What's keeping you up at night? And let's talk about it together, and how can we use Brightly products to make your lives easier?
So aside from that resource and opportunity for people to learn, what would you say is your favorite thing about this event? Because, and I'm asking you because everyone I've talked to in the lead up, we've been working on this, several meetings, lots of planning. This seems to be everyone's favorite week of the year. Why exactly is that?
Oh man, it feels like Christmas to me every year because honestly, getting to talk to our clients and making sure that we have that connection with them is so incredibly important to our mission, to make sure that we have a way to hear about what they're talking about, see what's keeping them up at night, and that really gives me a lot more motivation to do my job throughout the year because I know who I'm doing it for, and there's a face to the product. Every single client I look at here out in the lobby right now, I can see them and they're just so excited to be there. They're excited to learn, and I can feel that excitement, and it just rejuvenates my joy for doing my job.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people so far, and I know as we keep moving through the event, it's going to get busier and busier and busier. I've met some people that are here for the first time. Of course, I'm here for the first time, which is really special because
I get to see things from a whole new perspective.
Yeah.
And then I've also seen some people that always come to this event, not just because of the entertainment, but for that learning, because they get to see what are the newer innovations, what are some of the other products. Like this morning I learned all about Origin and how that's making an impact. And I just had my first demo of the Works Hub, which was pretty interesting because I had never actually seen it. I only heard about it from the different people that I've talked to.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite things about the innovations that are happening right now for Brightly as it relates to not just the product, but how you're focusing on service delivery for your clients?
Sure. Honestly, one of my favorite things around innovation that Brightly does is every year we have something called a hackathon that anybody can submit an idea. It could be from our client services team, it could be from marketing, it could be from product. And we take stories that we hear from clients and say, hey, doing this thing would make life a little bit easier, and do kind of an internal competition, and we'll vote, and we'll have kind of this brand new product innovation that comes to light because we have people advocating for their clients and really kind of doing a pitch to make their lives easier. So I love the hackathon. It's so much fun. It's like a little internal Olympics every year.
And that's actually one of the secrets to why you would have such a user conference, is because you can curate those particular stories and then drive product development based on client feedback, right?
Absolutely. We want our clients to feel like they have input. It's their story we're trying to tell through our products. We need their feedback. We want their feedback. And so this is the best place to do it because we get that face-to-face with them.
Yeah, for sure. And we can tell in the background, we're getting a lot busier. There's people congregating. They've got this cool setup where you can go press on all these things and you get a free gift, and you don't know what it's going to be. So I told everybody to pay close attention because one of the gifts in there is a stack of cash, and whoever gets it is supposed to come over and sit down and do an episode with CMMS Radio. So I'm hoping that works. Do you know how much is in there?
I don't know how much is in there. It's unlimited.
Well,
the limit does not exist.
We're going to find out. So I know it's a busy day. It's day one. We're probably going to hook up again. I just wanted to do a real brief introduction. I want people to know who you are. You've been so instrumental in getting me here and getting everything set up. It's a really great event, everyone. We're doing these audio only, but I am going to get some select footage available for you. And Molly, have a great Brightly Illuminate event.
Greg, I hope you have a great time here at Illuminate.
Already am. Thank you very much. Coming to you from Brightly Illuminate out in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is where we're bringing the best ideas to light. And I am joined by Michael Hartsell. And what I wanted to talk to you about or learn about was how you came here to work at Brightly. But I want to start back where you got your education, and that was in industrial and technical
systems
engineering.
Yep.
So industrial and systems engineering. So if you could tell us a little bit about that, and then how you first got exposed to the manufacturing space, and just a little bit about that, and then how you got here to Brightly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to North Carolina State University. Really liked math growing up as a kid, so I thought, hey, engineering makes sense. I got in. First year, they do some different things where you take some classes and kind of get to test out different specialties of the engineering. So we had some classes. We got to learn a little bit about electrical, mechanical, industrial, nuclear, all those different things, and ultimately decided that the industrial one was pretty broadly applicable. And I think what I really liked about it was the opportunity to make things function more efficiently. So reducing that waste, taking extra steps out of that process. I guess the way my brain works is it likes things to fit smoothly, one after the other, sequentially, and making sure that, if you're doing things for no reason, why would you do that? So, things should have a purpose and kind of lead to something that's an improvement. So industrial systems engineering for me was being able to really look at a workflow of manufacturing something and being able to find where can we take one less step but still produce the same good that's the same quality and all those things. Where do we need, or where do we maybe add a person to help, reduce a person, where can we automate different things? So finding ways to really reduce waste ultimately throughout a manufacturing process. So that was, to me, what really drew me to that that degree.
It's interesting because when I hear that, and I do this a lot with different things that I hear about and learn about from people, where I'm leaning in on things I've heard about, learned about a little bit, but maybe I didn't practice it anywhere near the level that you did. But like project execution maturity model, or things like theory of constraints, how do we find and exploit the bottleneck and all that, is some of that kind of throughout what you look at and what you do when you're trying to ultimately gain higher throughput without any reduction, and even you want increased quality, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely understanding bottlenecks, reducing the time in that bottleneck to, or how long that step takes in the process. Definitely a big part of that. There's other things around like inventory management pieces that we did, understanding, predicting stock outs, making sure that you have what you need. How do you calculate those min and max levels you should be having, or your reorder points? So it went through a bunch of different stuff, but yeah, I mean, ultimately the idea is reducing waste, whether that's in physical motion, whether that's in over-engineering or over-producing a part, or whether that's in having too many parts on your warehouse shelf that you don't really need. So really finding where can we pull that waste out and free up space or time for more productive activities.
I had somebody on the podcast, it was last year, and what he had said was, if you want to do one thing in your plant, one thing, and you can only do one thing, and you want to make an impact, reduce your waste. He said it will for sure yield returns. Do you think that delivering these systems, or improving these systems, leveraging the technology, still, even though the technology is great, is really going to come down to the people, and you have to still solve that barrier of getting them to buy in and kind of understand why these changes are about to take place that you might have discovered as you're researching a system?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that, I mean, I heard Corey mention this before, but talked about, the best system that you have, or the best system for you, is the one that your people will use. If no one's putting data in the system, no one's using the system, then you don't have any data. So the one that they're using, willing to put information into, willing to work with you on, is the best one for you to use. So it's always definitely something that made me think about it and shift a little bit, better understanding of that, and making sure that, like the way I think about products and making, software, is really bringing that industrial systems engineering background into the creation of those products or the workflows, and making sure, why should I click 10 times to do something if I can automate 4 or 5 of those steps? I know what you're going to select. Maybe there's only one option. Why do I have to click into the field and fill in the form in that way? So really taking some of those concepts of like reducing waste and reducing extra time it takes to fill in something, like I like to bring that into the way that I think about software, developing software, and things like that.
So on that, so you're here at Brightly, but were you in a very specific sector of manufacturing prior to joining Brightly?
So I actually did a couple internships and then worked in a manufacturing plant for about a year. So one of the internships was actually in food and beverage, so as a coffee and tea manufacturer. One of the internships was in a pre-stressed precast concrete plant, and so they would make, basically like parking decks, basically if you've ever seen one being built, it's kind of like putting Lego blocks together, but they would pour the concrete in these long beds, tension the steel rods in there so that they have the strength, and then pull them out, load them on a truck, and ship them off to the job site to be put in place. So it's something kind of different. So, and then finally, the last place I worked, they did a couple of different things, but mainly around power lines and the transfer of power throughout places. So they would do stuff that you would put on the power lines for wrapping cables around, tying lines together. They did some extrusion of like the little yellow things you see running into the ground. I think everyone knows what those are. And they also did some solar panel mounting that you could put together. So they did, extruding of plastics. They did, laser cutting of stuff and bending with the press. So kind of have experience in food and beverage, a lot of different things, really. So kind of a little taste of each.
I don't know if this is even such a thing, but that eclectic exposure to the principles, but in various environments, I think benefits you being here at Brightly when you have to talk to someone about a process you're looking to improve or understand where they're having a problem and on like that, because you're not doing any guesswork. You still need the information from them to help get that moving in the right direction. But I think that kind of exposure or eclectic exposure to those environments strengthens how you apply your trade instead of, some people get into a very specific environment. Just as an example, maybe they're in wastewater management, and they're never in another sector. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but then with you having these multiple levels of exposure and then being in the environments, now that helps you to better serve your clients here at Brightly. And the thing about Brightly Illuminate, it's all about the users. So what I wanted to ask you is, where do you sit in the line of customer facing, and then what do you kind of hear about that drives your process? Like what do you really wrestle with most of the time here at Brightly?
Yeah, so as a product manager, our main goal is to really understand the client need, the client value that we're delivering, understand the true client experience, and be able to bring that back to our developers so they truly understand who are they developing for, where are they at when they're using our software, how are they feeling, like what are they struggling with, where are their pain points, truly creating that empathy for that end user who is the technician in most cases for us. So I really like to talk to clients, understand that better. Like having been in a manufacturing setting, I have some feel for it. But yeah, even just like at the conference, talking to multiple people, like picking up on certain things that they are experiencing is going to just help us tremendously when we go back. We talk to the developers, we create, here's what someone is experiencing, here's how, and work with them on like how do we solve it together, and make sure that ultimately whenever we do solve that problem and we deliver a new solution, it's going to work for the client, it's going to meet their needs. So I just really enjoy that, like as a product manager, being able to be that voice of someone else, being able to deliver something that in my mind, like my goal is, how do I deliver something that makes someone else's lives easier? So how do I make that everyday life of someone else better? And that's why I like software. And I think even back when I was in a manufacturing plant, as an industrial engineer, we did a lot of like time studies, making sure you understand how much does it actually cost to produce and build something. And like as a part of that, we had an information system where we'd input data into and then calculate that. But I was seeing the way it was used, and it seemed like there were some things that were being used, some things that weren't. But in looking at it, I was like, there's so much information we could get out of this if we had the time and energy and ability to put more information into it. But I saw that it could really, really make our lives easier, like the entire plant's lives easier with that data. And that's kind of like the first thing that really got me into like software type stuff and made me interested in like, how can software be used in the day-to-day lives of people to help make that life better?
So when you were doing that in that exact scenario that you described, did you encounter resistance from the team, or was it like as far as, oh man, you're changing things again and you're making us use stuff? Was there any of that kind of stuff going on?
I would say, so I didn't have much say in what we used. I tried to basically take what I could get out of the system and present it to other people and see like, hey, look at what we can do with this. And they would either take that and yeah, that's good information to have, or they wouldn't really care one way or the other. But I didn't get as much into like trying to get other people to use it in the same way.
That was somebody else's job.
Yeah, it was someone else's job. But I think, like I said, it really was a little eye-opening because I hadn't really thought about that before through schooling and stuff. Like, yeah, just like software as a career and potential, like, yeah, I don't know, kind of like a personal mission though. Like, I like helping people, like, you know, making people's lives better, like, you know, whatever I can do to help out. So it's just another extension of that.
What was your favorite thing that happened at this conference so far that applies to how you're going to further improve how you deliver to your clients as a product manager?
Yeah, so I helped present one session for the new things that we've done in Asset Essentials over the last year. And we got to talk about something that is coming soon. And actually, it was really cool. We had a client come up to us later and say that that's something they've been wanting to have for a while, and is actually something that, you know, they've been missing out on the product. And so, like, just being able to hear some of those stories of like some of the things we're thinking of, clients are wanting, and that, you know, we're aligned, you know, on like what they're trying to do, what we're trying to do, and just like having that face-to-face time, having more time and having more interaction. Like, you know, you can hop on a call, but who has time to do that? When you're here, you know, you're passing someone, you're able to go talk to them, spend 5 minutes, and you can get that quick validation. Yeah, you're on the right track. No, hey, we actually want this instead. And you can have more and more of those conversations, almost like, you know, it's qualitative versus quantitative data. You can send out a survey and get responses, but it lacks a little context. Qualitative data, you know, you can go talk to someone and get real in depth, but it's hard to do that a lot. So like, I think this is a great like balance of the two. Like, we're in person here, we're talking, we're having fun, we're cutting it up, but we're also, you know, getting to really validate and know what people are wanting. And yeah, it's just it's exciting.
I would tell you what, that I couldn't have said that better myself, the way you said that, and that's what this is all about. Not only the event, Brightly Illuminate, but it's kind of what I'm trying to do whenever I have conversations on CMMS radio to, you know, let's just talk about it and let's get some stuff out there. We don't have to agree. We just have to keep going on an explorative type of journey. And I'm all about CMMS journeys, and I really appreciate you being here with me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And we'll go get ready for this party, man.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, cool, man. Thank you.
Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit cmmsradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS, from selection to implementation, to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.